I'm doing everything I can to mentally keep the pressure on him.
You know, he's just another racer in my mind.
14 years ago.
I've never ridden here.
Mountain bike fans, welcome to the 2025 Downhill World Championship here in Champery. Once again, the rainbow jersey is up for grabs. And if Loris Vergier, last year's winner, is not too sure about the track,
I expect it to be quite hard for me.
Alitha Osgaard, Jackson Goldstone and Loic Bruni are pretty eager to get on track and show the public what they can do.
Really like how steep it is.
Here in Champiri, I really enjoy the track. It's a fun track to ride.
I spent quite a bit of time here over the years and yeah, absolutely love riding this track.
So let's go around the pits and ask the riders what they've changed on their bike for this very steep track of Champery.
Potential changes, we'll probably go a little bit higher in the handlebar. I'm sure you're going to hear that all the way around the pits today. Probably just a 5mm spacer to start with underneath my stem. I was here just before Leger and I put it in then, and I took it out for Leger because even though Leger is steep, it's not as violently steep as it is here. If we still don't find a good ride position, we'll probably make some suspension changes, but these days the bikes are so good that we don't have to change them dramatically compared to what we have done in the past.
So what we figured out last time we were here, we rode a day or two, and it's like steep, but actually not straight down, so it doesn't really feel steep. So in the end, you don't really have to run like a high bar or like really low BB. It's mostly like quite backy and tight. It was quite hard to get used to it. It's not like your typical World Cup rhythm where it's just fast and flowy. So the changes are more towards like turning tight and bike length. A bit of the offset, a bit of just length of the bike. I usually like long bike that feels stable. Here's like not really working, so went to just a normal shorter bike. We're always on the brake, so it kind of heats up. Last time was quite hot, so we had to run a bigger disc. But if I can, I just like my braking to be gentle. So if I can run a normal 200 would be better, but we'll see what the conditions are.
Most of the bike is kind of staying the same. We might have raised the bars a bit because it's really steep, and definitely changing the tires from the wet screams last week. No, I feel like we found a really good base on the bike now and everything is working really well, so I think just keep it the same. Yeah, we came into the season with like a new manufacturer behind the brake pads. They changed down, we've gone over to like the new blue pad as we call it, and it's been working really well, and I feel like these brakes are so powerful, so probably won't change anything unless I feel like I really need it.
I got a phone call yesterday inviting me to come out and paint everybody's frames. I was in Bristol and I flew the next day to Geneva, and so I arrived and I just chatted to everyone about what was like meaningful to them and what they wanted to represent on their frames. I really want them to be personal for each rider.
Cool, this year we got full creative freedom to do whatever we wanted, and so we peeled off all the stickers, and then I wanted to go with like a Korean theme because my mom is from Korea, so I'm half Korean. We basically have a word that means like intensity and strength. At the back here we have family and love, which I also have a tattoo of here, which is my grandma's handwriting. I have the flag and my name, and then all the symbols in the flag has a different meaning: water, earth, air and fire.
We raced here European champs last year. I think the classic one is raise your handlebars, maybe a bit soft on the rear, shorter chain stay, slowing down the rebound, speed up the rebound on the front. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make your bike go a little bit more like this and just feel comfortable. Because if you have like your normal race setup for a layering, for example, it's quite low for me. And if I would put that setup here, I would lose all the confidence because it's so steep and you just feel like you go over the bars. Maybe bigger brake test for some people. I'm on the 220s anyway. I like strong brakes and I like to drag the brakes a lot, which is, I don't think it's good, but I do drag quite a bit. I have heat issues sometimes on the 200s, so 220s, why not? I don't feel any disadvantage, so yeah. I was here in summer, like pretty much every World Cup rider, and I've tested 29er to mullet here, and felt way better on the mallet.
Usually the way we work and the way we process is we have a base setup that we use all year long. We do adaptations regarding on the tracks and my feeling on the bike simply. So I've never ridden here. I didn't come to pre-practice. I didn't race the European Championships last year. So for me it's a brand new track and I'm looking forward to see what's the track like?
It will change a little bit because it's super steep, so I'm going to feel like I'm going to be going over the handlebars, so I'm going to add a little bit of height in the handlebars just to get a little more, feel like I'm not as far back, and then probably slow down, either slow down or speed up the suspension a bit, see if I want to go faster or slower. Probably going to say slower because it's steep. I already run like a pretty big rear rotor. I ride a 200 front and a 220 rear. So I honestly don't, I think that'll be a perfect setup for me.
Champery is one of the only one that's that steep and that many berms, like it's so specific. So for sure it's one of the only track of the year we changed drastically the settings. I don't want to say too much because obviously like I don't want other people to maybe do it tonight or whatever, but we're going to change some stuff on the geometry, some stuff on the linkages, spring rate, cockpit height, and pedal area.
Are you going to ride flats?
No, not the flats. I remember my first World Champs here in 2011 when I was junior. I switched to flat for the race because it was pissing down. And I was all over the place and I never ride flat in downhill, but I wanted to do everything like Blinky was doing. And it ruined my race, so I'm not putting flats anytime soon.
Obviously we made a quite big change and that's a full new bike for this week. Changes wise, we're not going to do too much, and then once practice starts we might make a few changes here or there, but maybe just go up a little bit in bar height and yeah, do a few small adjustments just to taking the fact that it's so steep here.
I think the track's fantastic because you can pretty much set off out of the start and you could leave your chain at the top and your time is not going to be much different at the bottom. The track is somewhat more simple than it was 14 years ago. No, it's a great track and I really love it. But, it's a long time ago since we were last raced the World Champs here, but it was definitely a good day.
The track is the opposite of last year's World Champ, and last year was pretty good. So I expect it to be quite hard for me. Give a okay result would be nice, but I don't expect much just because the track feels like quite hard for me. Walker pace when it's fast and like flowy is where I like the most and where I shine the best. And here's like pretty much the opposite, like really tight, not many lines. Like there's a rhythm, like if walk-up pace is here, like it's quite lower down, and I used to struggle. So hopefully we can find setups, hopefully I can find the rhythm.
Confidence is high obviously after Léger. Léger was insane, I felt good all week. Steep track, a lot of braking, just like home. So yeah, I think we should be on for a good one.
I'm confident. I've been showing progress over the last few races. From La Tuile on, it's been just getting better and better. And we have to take into consideration that this track is completely different. And I'm starting from scratch again, If it's staying dry like this, I'm gonna go back on the clips. I think I really keep those flat pedals for really nasty, difficult conditions like we had in Léger.
I really like how steep it is. It's kind of like a steep blue trail. Like you take a blue trail that was flowy and just make it go straight down, which was sick, but we'll see how they changed it on Trailforks today. I'm really excited. I'm feeling really good. I feel like my pace is there. Obviously, I made a pretty big mistake in Léger, and I definitely will learn from that, but I feel like I can do it.
So here in Champery, I really enjoy the track. It's a fun track to ride. It's another story when it comes to race on it because it is weird. Like there is not much on the track that's technical. It's just commitment to the steepness. So you have to throw yourself into each berm. So it's like a weird rhythm to take. But once you have the rhythm, it's really hard to go and attack more than that. So I feel like I don't know what can happen. I feel good on the track, I feel confident and comfortable, but I don't know how much I can push for the race. I'm a little bit excited to see how I'm able to handle it, but I think being a bit heavy, I will have to be smart with my my breaking points and try to manage that a lot more than someone that's lighter.
This one's really sick. I spent quite a bit of time here over the years, and yeah, absolutely love riding this track. So much fun. It's just like a super steep bobsled track. So yeah, I think definitely helps me. There's a few puddles out of the gate, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah, stoked to have a race where it's not as much of a physical thing and it's more of a skill. This will be my first Elite Worlds actually, since I was missed the last 2 years due to injury. So yeah, really looking forward to getting on track and letting this red and white rig fly. Pretty bummed with Leger. I definitely botched that race quite hard. Yeah, the same route took me out twice, Q1 and finals. So really, yeah, not super happy with my riding from last week, and it was just a struggle the whole time. So yeah, really looking forward to rebounding, finding that flow again, and finding the way that I ride again. The wet conditions are tough for everybody, but for me, I don't mind riding in mud. Like it's something I feel like I'm okay at, and I do a lot of in the winter. But yeah, I don't know. I just struggled all week a little bit and just kind of couldn't find that extra gears.
I think Jackson was really strong mentally until now, and then maybe in Andorra we cracked the skull, let's say.
Pas mal, non? C'est français.
But I think now he knows what's at stake, the overall. He knows it's hard to manage. Like it's one thing to get the overall, but it's also another thing to manage the lead all the way to the end. And it's only 3 races left, so I've been able to do it a few times now, and I know it's super hard. So maybe for him it's the first time, and he has a kid like me chasing him. So I'm doing everything I can to mentally keep the pressure on him, because I don't want him to ride super light-minded and like chill and do his thing. I want him to feel the weight of my pressure, and I think last week was a bit the case. So this week is a different race. It's going to be hard to beat Jackson because it's a track where I think he can do really, really well. But on the World Cup circuit, I think I have all my chances to catch him and beat him.
Yeah, it's funny, the narrative that everyone's putting is, me versus Loic, and it is true because, we're so much farther ahead in the overall that, it is coming down to a bit of a 2-man race. So, yeah, main focus is on, doing the best I can. That always comes first. I'm a very, very selfish when it comes to racing. I don't worry about other people. I just focus on what I have to do and what I can do best. So, yeah, I think, as much as I want to beat Loic, I want to beat everyone else as well. And he's just another racer in my mind.